What is up, YouTube? Back in Madden 23. Today we're going to be doing an experiment in Madden. We're going to see if Tom Brady can make the playoffs with the worst overall wide receivers in Madden. First, I want to say thanks to everyone that has been subscribing to the channel. If you like Madden rebuilds, Madden career simulations, and also I'm going to be doing some Madden experiments, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, say something down in the comments. I really appreciate it. I'm getting pretty close to 100 subscribers, so let's go ahead and get me there. Thanks. That being said, I'm going to go over here to the wide receivers. I manually went through and lowered every single player's ability down to 1 in every category except for injury. I want to make sure that they don't get hurt so they can try to be there the whole season. They are getting a boost from the coaching abilities on their catching traffic, but the lowest that they can be is a 12. They won't go any lower than that. Try to get them to a 0, but that's what they got. I did leave all of their dev traits and abilities and everything alone. Let me go over here to the lineup real quick so y'all can see that. Mike Evans still has X Factor, Godwin still has Superstar, and Gage still has Star, but I didn't mess with the tight ends. I wanted to have some option there for Tom Brady to be able to throw it to. So we're gonna do one season and see how this goes. Probably gonna be a pretty short video, but just a little experiment to see what happens. Here at the mid-season point, the team is doing pretty bad. They're 1-6. It looks like they just barely got their first win against the Panthers, 29-27. I'm gonna come and look at the schedule and see what the stats are looking like for each game. See, let me do the team schedule. All right, so dang, they lost to the Cowboys 63-20 in week 1. Let's look at the player stats on here. Tom Brady had a 40 QB rating, 198 yards. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but he threw 4 interceptions. The leading receivers are obviously the tight ends because they still have some abilities, but Mike Evans still got 3 for 33. Rudolph had 2 touchdowns. Chiefs game was pretty close, but they still lost 21-17. Look at the stats on here real quick. Tom Brady actually had a really good game, a 101 QB rating with 265 yards and 2 touchdowns, 62% completion. Mike Evans had 6 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. Godwin had 4 for 59. Tight end Cameron Brate had 4 for 48 and a touchdown. And then 2 running backs had catches. Falcons game was even worse, blowout. 63-7 was the final score on that one. So I'm assuming Tom Brady had a ridiculously bad day. 19 for the QB rating, 166 yards with 4 interceptions, 45% completion percentage. Receiving wise, Mike Evans led the team with 6 catches and 54 yards. Russell Gage Jr. had 2 for 32. Cameron Brate's a tight end. Kyle Rudolph's a tight end. Fournette's a running back. Chris Godwin had 1 for 8. Finally got their first win, 29-27. Tom Brady had a 75.5 rating, 286 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 60% completion. Receiving wise, Kyle Rudolph led the team with 8 for 88. And then Cameron Brate had 5 for 83. Russell Gage had 4 for 42 and a touchdown. Mike Evans had 2 for 20. Chris Godwin had 1 for 6. 3 wins and 14 losses. Worse in the division, probably worse in the league from the looks of it. Look at the season stats. 25th ranked offense, so still not the worst ranked offense. Let's dive deeper into this. Tom Brady threw for 4,500 yards, which is still pretty freaking good. 20 touchdowns, not bad. 43 interceptions is terrible. 55% completion is probably the worst that he had his entire career. Let's see who the receivers. The leading receiver obviously was going to be a tight end because he had the highest overall, but he had 101 catches, 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns. Mike Evans still had 63 catches for 772 yards and 1 touchdown. Russell Gage had 64 catches for 725 yards and 6 touchdowns. So that's a running back, tight end, running back. Chris Godwin had 22 catches for 227 yards, no touchdowns, and Scotty Miller had 1 catch for 3 yards. Looking at Tom Brady's career stats, his rating 58.8 is definitely the worst, as we can see. And then his yards of 4,500. Looks like it's about in the middle. 4,503, yeah, it's like pretty much in the middle. Touchdowns, the worst, 20, besides 2008 whenever he hurt his leg. Interceptions, the most by far. Completions, 399, actually like top 5 or 6, top 6. Attempts, he had 718, so that was the second most. Completion percentage, the worst by 5%. And then he had 6.3 per attempt, which was the worst also. So yeah, definitely the worst season ever, obviously. The last game that we saw was 29-27 win over the Panthers. They lost to the Ravens 28-7, lost to the Rams 34-27, lost to the Seahawks 17-13, lost to the Browns 42-28, beat the Saints 35-10. Let's check this game out, see how they ended up winning this. The heck, oh, Tom Brady had a 95 rating, was pretty good, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. For some reason, Kyle Trask got to come in and threw a touchdown pass. Tom Brady had a 61% completion percentage, so that's probably like one of the best games that he had all year. Leading receiver was a running back, Rachaad White. Mike Evans had 5 for 51. Russell Gage had 4 for 17 and a touchdown. Winning 2 games in a row, scoring 35 points both times. They beat the 49ers 35-27. Tom Brady had a 115 QB rating. Dang, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 71% completion, so that was definitely his best game of the season. Russell Gage had 9 for 110 with 2 touchdowns as a 12 overall rated receiver. Mike Evans had 4 for 51. Chris Godwin had 2 for 24, and Scotty Miller had 1 for 3 yards. That was the last win of the season. They ended up losing every game, but look at this Bengals game. They lost 77-27. I mean, the Buccaneers defense is pretty good, so I guess whenever you put them in a situation where Tom Brady throws 5 interceptions, they're probably going to end up giving up a lot of points. He had a 44 QB rating with 368 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions, 54% completion. Leading receiver was tight end Cameron Brate, 12 for 191, so he figured out I need to throw it to the tight end. Mike Evans 3 for 67. Russell Gage had 2 for 28. Yeah, it looks like the wide receivers definitely make a huge difference in Madden as far as their overalls. Obviously, I mean, I assume that it would. But let's check out the lineup real quick and make sure, or let's see what the team's looking like. We still have all these 12 overall rated wide receivers. Cameron Brate had a huge season because of the fact that all the receivers sucked. Tom Brady cannot make the playoffs in Madden with bad receivers. I'm going to try to do some more videos like this. I think that the offensive line is going to be a real interesting one because I'm honestly not too sure if that makes a difference. I mean, is it worth it to have, go spend big money on an offensive lineman in a franchise that you're going to be doing simulation on? And because if you can get like a really cheap guy like this guy, Gadecki, he's a 68 overall, and just have like a bunch of 68 overall offensive linemen, or even a bunch of 0 overall offensive linemen in simulation, does that make a difference or not? I'm gonna do that one next, most likely. But it was an interesting video. If y'all liked what y'all saw, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, comment something down below. If you have any type of ideas that you want me to do for videos, I'll definitely consider it. Appreciate everyone watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.